cutaneous trunci, which is this very large muscle but very thin. Okay, it's what shakes the skin. All right, it's going to always be attached or right by the skin. Next, we have our latissimus dorsi, which is this fan-like muscle, which comes from back here from the thoracic vertebra all the way up to underneath the humerus and scapula. All right, it aids in pulling the leg back. All right, next we have the trapezius. Okay, the trapezius is this muscle right here. It looks like a trapezoid. All right, it aids in elevating the limb. Okay, if it was going to constrict it, aid in elevating. All right, our rhomboideus, which is up here at the top, which we'll get a better view here at the end. All right, our rhomboideus also aids in elevating the limb. Next we have our brachiocephalicus, which is this long muscle which starts down here at the humerus, comes all the way up to the skull. All right, brachiocephalicus. The omotransversarius is this other small muscle which runs parallel with the brachiocephalicus but dives underneath it. Next we have the superficial cervical lymph node, which sits right underneath the omotransversarius. And finally here at the front end we have the sternomandibularis, which is this very skinny strap-like muscle. If we go back to the limb itself, we'll start here at the top, at the spine of the scapula. You can see that. We have our supraspinatus muscle, which sits here right on top or dorsal to it. Next we have our infraspinatus, which is the muscle just underneath it, which is outlined here. Next we have our deltoideus, and then coming here to the back side we have our tensor fascia antebrachii, and then our triceps brachii. All right. If we look here, we have our biceps brachii, which is this very shiny muscle, which looks like a tendon. In between the biceps and triceps brachii is the brachialis. So remember that brachialis means breaks up the biceps and triceps. So if we flip the leg over from there, well, first let's start with the pectoralis. We have our superficial pectoralis muscle, which attaches right here. So here's the side over here, and here's the side over here. And then we have the deep pectoralis muscle. So superficial pectoralis, remember it has the two sides to it, and then the deep pectoralis. So let's open it up, and we have our subscapularis, which usually is a lot shinier, and that's going to be a good hint for y'all. So subscapularis meaning underneath the scapula, teres major, which is right here.
In between the cuts.
Right? And then we have our latissimus dorsi, which you can see here from this side. All right? Our latissimus dorsi, and then supraspinatus.
Okay.
All right. Lastly, we have our serratus ventralis right here, which comes all the way around, so you can still see it here, and meets back up at the rhomboideus.
Cool.